Hey friends, hope you're doing well. In this video I'd like to give you a few ideas around Claude Code or the usage of Claude Code coming from myself and my own experience. So I'm currently on the $20 per month plan and I constantly hit the 3-hour session limit. Meaning that, I have to wait 3 hours until I can continue working with Claude. Now, of course, some of you might have the $100 or even more dollar max plan, but still then you probably hit this session limit from time to time. So the goal is really to understand what could we do at least to optimize that and to minimize that. And we can start actually with the Claude.md file. So the Claude.md file in the user folder, right, which a lot of people use, right, and maybe use even a Claude or another AI model to create it. So far so good. But there we should actually reduce this as much as possible. What I mean by that is if you take a closer look at my one, which is this one here, it only has 91 lines. And I think also Anthropic mentioned that you should actually keep this as short as possible because this is loaded into context all the time. And if you put everything you want, so your coding standards and everything around your project in this file, then it gets read again and again, and this pollutes your context. So keep this as short as possible, right? As you can see here, 91 lines. Then next, what I do is I basically outsource the remaining things to my sub-agents. So you can see here various sub-agents, like the feature implementer, the product manager, and so on. And even those sub-agents, if you scroll down here, you would find that they also have, actually here, this one, for instance, only 74 lines. So again, it's really, really short. Because what I want for my agents is, if they need something, they should actually do it progressively, meaning this progressive disclosure, which is available via skills. Meaning, as you can see here, for my skills, I have here a code pattern skill, I have a memory bank template skill, I have a playwright skill, and so on. So basically, I outsource the main things, so my coding standards and so on, in these files here. So that I have my agents only reading actually what they need to know, and then if they need something from the skills, they can actually go to the skills section. Besides this, you should also keep in mind that when you create your sub-agents, you don't always need to have the best model for them. So depending on what the task of the sub-agent is, right, you could use also a cheaper model. For instance, if you have a product manager or some kind of planner at the beginning, it makes sense to use a very good model, a sophisticated model, of course, right, to derive the plan. But then for the implementation itself, you could also use maybe a cheaper model, right, which could then, of course, reduce the amount, if you use the API, for instance, which you need to spend. So that would be one idea, right? So beside this, also a lot of people using MCP servers, which is quite fine, right? They are great, but they have not the same, let's say, status as they had when they emerged, first appeared, because they have been replaced by actually the skill feature. What I mean by that, for instance, I only have one MCP server left now in my Claude Code setup. Which is context 7, because sometimes I would like to have, the information from the latest documentation. But even this MCP server, from time to time, I turn it off, which is also possible in Claude Code, by the way. Because MCP server, they pollute your context. And I can see, or I've seen people, and myself as well, having used multiple MCP servers all the time, just because I wanted to have them, so the AI can use them if it needs them. But oftentimes, those MCP servers wouldn't even be needed. And they pollute the context. And just if you go to your Claude setup and type in /context, you will see, if you have multiple MCP servers, how much tokens they use all the time. So also something which we could actually completely discard. And what I do, for instance, the other most important thing for the MCP server, which I always used, was playwright MCP. As you can see here, which I have now a skill, because I want Claude actually to do the end-to-end testing. I don't want to do that myself. I just tell Claude, hey, in this case, for instance, the release manager or one of my sub-agents, please do an end-to-end test with my software, right? With my current, in this case, project, and find the bugs. And then, of course, based on your findings, then, find out how to fix them. So also something which you could do via an MCP server, but you could also do it via a skill. So that only if it's required to do an end-to-end test, only then the sub-agent will read a specific skill. And beside this, one of my last tips, which I always use, is that I'm a big fan of discarding sub-agents. What I mean by that is, as you can see here, I have a feature implementer, which is this one here, but this feature implementer is really only there to implement one feature in the project. And as soon as the feature implementer is done with this feature, has tested the feature, and it works, then I discard him. And then I spawn simply a new feature implementer without having a polluted context. And the way it works, or how it works, is quite simple, because I also have here always an active context, and I always have a progress tracker. Meaning, when the feature implementer is done, then of course he just writes what he has done. He also writes the current progress, And then, of course, he could actually die, so to speak, and the new feature implementer could then read the current status and continue working on that, on the next task, right? So that's the idea behind that. So these are just a few ideas and tips from my side. Feel free to comment, tell me if you do something different or if you agree, and also share your thoughts. If you have not done so far, please subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me and also motivates me to create new videos. Thumbs up and see you in the next video.